Shannon, who is more in the wrong here?
Aqib got a new nickname. They call him 2 Chainz because he snatched both of them.
Was that, did you read that on Twitter?
No.
Okay.
Skip, you know what
Sounds like you did, but...
Skip, contrary to what you do, that sit around and just watch and have a boring, pathetic life and can't think of anything but just stats, I do other things. But anyway, as I was saying, Crabtree started it because the first play of the game, he punched Chris Harris in the stomach. And then Chris Harris pointed at him. You don't think Talib, because Talib was already looking for a reason to set it off. We know what Aqib Talib is. He bought that. And so once he snatched the chain last year, Crabtree swore revenge. Now, they've done a great job avoiding each other in the offseason. Both of these guys live in the Dallas area, I believe. And so you got to go out of your way because they kind of like the same things, probably go to the same places. But for the most part, I haven't heard of any incidences where they show up at the same locale at the same time. And once he punched Chris Harris in the stomach, now Talib's got to get involved because that's part of the no-fly zone, and they're going to protect each other. And then once he went to the other side, he was blocking Talib. Talib snatched the chain. He wouldn't let go, and then all hell broke loose from there. And this is what you get. But the NFL, unlike the Ramsey and the A.J. Green situation, so suspensions will be handed down. Not the fact that they got in the fight, Skip. It was the fact of the matter is that once they were broken up, they re-engaged. And this is a very, very bad look because this was all that everybody was talking about for the next 2 to 3, 4 hours. The NFL is not going to look favorably upon this. And because of the history, I would be surprised if they're not suspended a minimum of 1 game, maybe 2. And I'm sure the commissioner is going to want to talk to these young men and say, look, this is enough. And as Vance Joseph said, this is personal. And they let it get personal, and it boiled onto the field. And now Talib hurt his team because now you're down one of your best corners. Now you got to bring the 3rd or 4th corner on the field, and you got to put people in different spots. You can't have that. This was not a very, very good look, and I'm sorry that it had to happen. But at some point in time, you've got to let it go. Just let it go. It's over with. You snatched the chain. You don't snatch the 2nd chain. So can we be done with this now?
So I don't know what got said in pregame warmups or what got said before the first snap of the game from Talib to Crabtree. I'm sure insults were flying as usual because, as we know, they do have a lengthy history. But it appeared to me that Michael Crabtree came into this game wanting to fight and willing to get thrown out of it to defend his manhood, and he did exactly that. But let me frame this by telling you that I just watched 2 games at once because I can't process 3 games. So I keep it to 2 because I can barely keep up with 2 games. So I have to pick the 2. For once, maybe for the first time in a long, maybe forever, I chose not to put up on my 2 screens this game. So I missed the early brawl. I had to go back and watch the highlights, the lowlights of it, because I preferred to watch the Saints at the Rams and Jacksonville, who has the #1 defense in football, at the Cardinals. I thought, you know, I haven't watched them closely all year. I'm going to watch the opening of the Jacksonville game and see what, and they ended up losing on a late field goal. But the point is, this was the 3-7 Broncos against the 4-6 Raiders. And it has come to that for both teams. They're losing teams. They're both huge disappointments right up there with the Dallas Cowboys. These are those are the 3 big disappointments, and maybe the Giants you have to throw in there. But to me, it was fitting that a brawl became the most interesting development in the entire game, unless the mysterious ankle sprain of Paxton Lynch is big on your radar. It wasn't to me.
Well, the brawl overshadowed the fact that Paxton Lynch still looked like...
Well, he had a QBR of 4 in his time in the game. And then I don't know where his ankle came from. Like, he just suddenly rolled out and he said, oh, it happened a few plays earlier. And then he winds up on the bench crying. I don't know what's going on with the Broncos, but they are pathetic, as you outlined and detailed last Friday. So these are the Broncos who just fired their offensive coordinator as a scapegoat, and Mike McCoy, highly respected, against the Raiders, who had just scapegoated and fired their defensive coordinator, a guy I've known from his days in Dallas, Ken Norton Jr., who was beloved by the players. So 2 of those players protested, if not mutinied, Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin, by posting a bad word on Twitter, and then they both opted out of practice the next day. Jack Del Rio defended both, said they were rest days. I don't think they were rest days. I think they just mutinied. I think they just said, we are not going to practice today.
Khalil Mack is, 5 years, 6 years in the league, and he's already getting rest days, and Bruce Irvin. When did he become Bruce Smith?
I don't know. But I told you Friday, if Jack Del Rio wants to take back control of this team, he should sit both those players down for this game yesterday.
Right.
He did not.
No, he
defended both because he's just trying to hang on to his job,
exactly.
Right? So here we go, and that's the culture that has been created and allowed to run amok that Michael Crabtree said, I think I'm going to fight today.
Right.
So he goes and sucker punches, as you say, Chris Harris Jr. That's just a flat-out sucker punch to the midsection.
And Chris Harris had nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do. I don't even know where that came from. That means he was just over the edge from the start. So then he comes off with an overzealous, if I might, block, where he just keeps blocking, and Talib reaches up, and he snatches his chain again. So now, Michael Crabtree has been under fire first from Richard Sherman, then from Talib, because they question, you could say, his manhood, his intangibles. He's got thin skin. You can get under his skin very quickly just by talking. He'd be a guy that if you had been up against him, you would have figured out, you're both receivers, obviously, but if he had been a DB, you would have just said, I got you. I can just talk you right out of your game, and that's what they do to Michael Crabtree.
It's just the level of disrespect, Skip. I wore a chain basically my whole career. And nobody snatched it.
Nope.
But they snatch it because what you gonna do about it?
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? They have, they have literally questioned his manhood.
Yes.
And I questioned before that draft, you can look it up or check the tape, I questioned Michael Crabtree's lack of intangibles at Texas Tech. And he was unhappy with it, but moreover, his agent was very unhappy with it. And when they came to our studio back at ESPN, the agent in the commercial jumped all over me in a way Michael Crabtree did not. In fact, Crabtree tried to break it up, but he was upset that I was questioning Michael's intangibles, his toughness, whatever, his mental toughness. And he's got talent, he makes plays, but I question still, to this day, his lack of mental toughness because he lets this happen again and again and again. Richard Sherman just handled it.
Yeah,
right?
that championship game, so you tried me with some sorry receiver.
Really?
But my thing is, look, your beef was with Talib. Why you punch Chris Harris? You should have.
It's literally a low blow.
Right.
Literally.
What you should have done is line up on the other side and say, nah, hey, Coop, switch sides with me.
Yeah.
And let me go punch Talib in the stomach.
And Talib is no one to mess with because we know he's had a whole bunch of off-field incidents, but the street part of him is part of his game. This is who he is. You said it, right?
Yeah, he real about that.
That's where he lives.
He known him in the streets. I mean, he ain't no studio gangster.
I mean, this is a guy who shot himself in the leg by accident, obviously, this last offseason. Oh, okay.
They know about his people in Dallas.
They do.
There ain't no talking, they about that action.
So, to Michael Crabtree's, if I can say, I got to put quotes around it, credit. Once he went, he just said, I'm going to try to finish this.
Yes.
So he called him out away from the scrum and said, let's go at it over here. And to his, I got to give him some credit just on this pitiful level that we're talking on. What do you always say about the helmet? It's undefeated, right? Okay, so Talib keeps his helmet on, and I don't know if Crabtree's helmet got ripped off or he took it off, but he says, let's go, and I don't even have a helmet on. And to Crabtree's credit, he did actually get in. He got in one weird shot where he poked him in the eye.
Yeah.
So I give him, just on this sort of weird fighting level, he did get in one good shot.
It needs to end before it gets to a level that takes it to the street. And when you go in the street, everything is fair.
Yeah.
So they need to let this go. Okay, it's over and done with. You're both going to get suspended. You're both going to pay a heavy premium because the game check is going to be missed. I'm sure they're gonna find Crabtree for the punch on Harris. They're gonna find him for getting into that altercation. They're gonna suspend him. Talib, y'all need to let this go before it gets out of hand. You can see something like this going further than the football. I had a lot of disagreement with guys, but once the game was over, Skip, I'm done with it. I ain't finna go keep talking back and forth you ain't finna tongue wrestle me all day.
But unless they want to go meet in the parking lot.
Just let it go, Skip. It's over with. It's done. And the fact of the matter is, because of the fight, we're talking about, as you mentioned, two underachieving teams. The Broncos still haven't found a quarterback. The Raiders' defense still isn't very good, and Derek Carr needs to pick up his play. In order for them to get to where they need to be, he's going to have to play like he was playing last year.
Derek Carr had to make a late play to save the day from Trevor Siemian.
Yes.
Trevor Siemian almost brought them back to tie the game.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. And then I got to say this. I've always been a big Marshawn Lynch fan, but now that he has gone, quote unquote, home to Oakland, it comes across that he's just self-promoting, that it's all about Marshawn. It's really not about the team anymore. So what does he do? He grandstands by escorting Talib through the bench. Okay. And it's just like a look at me play. I don't know, or a move where I don't know who he is anymore. And I think he's just promoting his TV show. That's what I think.
I guess, Skip, but this thing is gone. This Talib and Crabtree thing is going on far enough, and it needs to end before somebody gets seriously hurt in the streets.
I think the commissioner will end it this week.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah, and I saw other punches thrown in there. I saw a whole bunch of punches from other combatants. So I don't know. I think a bunch of fines are about to come down.
The point is that it's just selfish. If it was a situation where somebody gave an extra little shove on the quarterback or something like that, but this is just the two of them not letting it go. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.